You know, I sold a horse here a couple of auctions ago. It's a horse called Bindaboo, and he was a 2-star eventer, but he would buck, and he was tricky enough. And this guy called Lindsay Honey bought the horse, and Lindsay's from Western Australia, and Lindsay, I don't know, he's 48, and he's got a family and a business and all this, but he always made up the numbers eventing, and he was and he'd have a couple of thoroughbreds off the track. He always had a couple, and I think the most he'd paid was $1,200 for a horse. And he came here and he bought Bindaboo from me for $50,000. And he said, this is my final fling. He said, I just want to, you know, have one last go, and then I'll hand over to the kids, and it'll be sweet. Well, anyway, Bindaboo went out, and you know, Lindsay was the right person for him, because Lindsay actually had a lot of feel for the job, but he was tough and he was experienced. Anyway, Bindaboo bucked him off. We called him Bronco for short at home, and anyway, he bucked him off. But Lindsay got up and sort of worked it out, and away he went. So anyway, he won, I don't know, 6 2-star one-day events, and then he moved his way up. And then he came over here, and then he did a couple of big shows here last year, and went really, really well, and got his tail up. So he went home, and he's gone up to 3-star, and he won. He's won a 3-star, and so all of a sudden, Lindsay's eyeballing, you know, Normandy, and Lindsay was a pretty tough little operator, and he had tough horses, and he'd come last in the dressage, but he'd do a good job jumping. Yeah. Well, with Bindaboo, he's pretty fancy dressage horse, and he's winning the dressage. And like, he's had the horse for 2 years now, so it's not because I schooled it, it's because Lindsay and Bindaboo have got a great partnership going. Anyway, William Fox Pitt, he's probably maybe the #1 rider in the world, maybe not, but he has been, he's very close in there, an English rider. He came out and said to Lindsay, I like your horse, and Lindsay said, oh, thank you. And he said, oh, you know, I'd like to buy it. And Lindsay said, oh, he's not for sale. And William said, well, he said, I'm talking about more money than you've ever seen before. And Lindsay goes, listen, I've got my own business, I'm fine, you know. And William said, no, I'm talking about more money than you've ever seen before. And Lindsay said, well, you need to shut the conversation down quickly. He said he thinks they were talking $2 million, but he said, look, at $2 million, he said, it would be lovely. He said, but it's not going to change my life. He said, no, you know, I'm comfortable. He said, the horse is changing my life. Yep. He said, it's not for sale. And William said, well, I like your attitude, and walked off. And Lindsay said to me, you know, he said, all his life he'd bought the $1,200 horse, you know, and kicked around, and he always thought he wasn't so good. Yeah. And he said now he understands that he can ride dressage and win. And he said, you know, Bindaboo is the cheapest horse he's ever bought. He said it's a funny thing, you know. He said all that time he spent his whole life, obviously with plenty of talent, you know, but never got a break, you know. So all of this, it's not really the price of the horse. It's if you can get a horse that's a soulmate for you, whether it's a $200 horse or a $50,000 horse, you know, it is life changing. You're a partner with the horse. You've got to have a partnership. And just got to have a partner. And you know, and I think the thing is, you don't know unless you have a go, because you know, Lindsay thought he was just one of the riders that made up the numbers, and now he's winning. You know.